Imagine getting a notification that changes your entire life in 1 second. Something exciting, but also a little scary. That was Mary's reality. An angel had just revealed her mission to be the mother of Jesus, the Son of God. This was the biggest news in human history. Mary could have stayed home, stuck in her own head, worrying about what people would say. But she did something unexpected. She didn't just accept the news, she moved. She went on a secret mission to help her cousin Elizabeth. And here's the best part. Mary wasn't traveling alone. She was carrying the Savior of the world inside her. In this video, we're looking at the Visitation, not just as a story from the past, but as a blueprint for how to be a hero today. Let's dive in. After the Annunciation, Mary's life was officially complicated. She was young, she had a massive responsibility, and she probably had 1,000 questions. It would have been easy to say, I need to focus on myself right now. But a heart full of God doesn't close in, it opens up. When Mary heard Elizabeth, who was much older, was also expecting a baby, she didn't hesitate. This is the first lesson for any faith superhero. God's presence makes us notice people. In a world where we are often glued to our screens, Mary teaches us to look up. Maybe a friend is struggling with anxiety, or a parent is exhausted. Mary doesn't ask, what's in it for me? She asks, who needs me? Loving God starts with noticing the person standing right next to you. When Mary arrived at Elizabeth's house, there were no trumpets or red carpets. She didn't lead with, guess who's special? She simply walked in and said hello. But the moment she spoke, something supernatural happened. The baby inside Elizabeth, John the Baptist, literally leaped for joy. Why? Because Jesus was there. Even though he was hidden, his presence changed the atmosphere of the entire home. You don't need a platform or a microphone to bring Jesus to your school or your family. You bring him when you listen without judging, when you include the person being left out, or when you bring peace to a tense situation. Like Mary, you can be a carrier of joy just by showing up with love. When Elizabeth saw Mary, she could have felt jealous. She could have compared her mission to Mary's. Instead, she celebrated. She recognized God's work in someone else and blessed it. This is a superpower we desperately need in the age of social media. It's so easy to look at someone else's highlights and feel like our life isn't enough. But Elizabeth shows us that someone else's light doesn't dim yours. Holiness isn't a competition, it's a team sport. God has a specific mission for you that no one else can fulfill. When you're happy for others, you're living like a citizen of heaven. In response to Elizabeth's praise, Mary prays the Magnificat. She doesn't brag about being chosen. She brags about how great God is. She calls herself lowly, a simple servant. This is the beauty of Mary. She makes God bigger, not herself. In a culture that tells us to build our own brand, Mary reminds us that the greatest heroes are the humblest ones. If you ever feel invisible or like you weren't talented enough, remember that God chose a simple girl from a small town to change the world. He looks at your heart, not your follower count. The biggest takeaway from the Visitation is simple. Faith does not stay still. Mary believed and then she moved. She got up, she walked, and she served. It's not enough to just know about God. Faith has to show up in your actions. It shows up in your patience, your kindness at home, and your courage to do what's right when no one is watching. When you carry Jesus in your heart, you change the world one visit at a time.
Mary received the greatest gift ever, and she immediately went to share it. This week, challenge yourself to make a visit. Send a text to someone who's lonely, help out at home without being asked, or simply offer a smile to someone who looks sad. You don't need to do something huge to bring Jesus. You just need to be willing to go. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe to Superhero of Faith Stories. Let us know in the comments, how can you bring a little more joy to someone today? And don't forget to check out our books on Amazon for more stories that turn faith into action. See you in the next mission.